Okay, good afternoon. Good day again, everyone. Uh, Welcome to our class, Strategic Cost Management. Our topic for today is relevant cost for non-routine decision making. So, in short, itong decision making that we will be doing is applicable to non-routine activities inside an organization or a business. And then, out of that non-routine activities, na we have to make a decision, we have to be able to select ano-ano lang yung mga relevant cost. Because not all costs are relevant simply because it has nothing to do with our decisions. It will not make any difference at all. Kaya it's not relevant. So sa dami-dami ng cost, we must be able to learn how to choose alin lang yung mga relevant in our decision para makapili tayo ng tamang decision natin. Okay, these are the expected learning outcomes. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe the decision-making process, state the general rule for distinguishing between relevant and irrelevant costs in a decision-making situation, identify some costs and explain why they are not relevant in the decision-making, identify opportunity costs as well as out-of-the-pocket costs, apply incremental and total project analysis approach in decision-making, prepare an analysis whether a part should be manufactured or purchased, whether a product line or other segment should be dropped or retained, whether a joint product should be sold at the split-off point or processed further, whether a special order should be accepted or rejected, and then make an appropriate computation to determine the optimum utilization of scarce resources, although this particular objective will also be further supported in the next chapter, in chapter 12. Initially, magkakaroon tayo ng konting computation ng utilization of scarce resources. And then evaluate whether the company continue operation or temporarily shut down. Determine selling price using cost plus pricing and target costing. Okay, so medyo konti lang ito. So, just like in any other organization, especially in a business organization, managers are expected to make a decision that is advantageous or for the benefit of the company. And when I say for the benefit, that is achieving its goals. And one of the goals or the primary goals of the business is to earn a profit. So in short, lahat ng decision ng managers, it should be supportive of the primary objective, and that is to earn a profit. Otherwise, bakit pa sila nandoon kung hindi rin naman pala tayo kikita sa kumpanya na yon? So, dapat daw ang decisions nila parate ay how can we earn a profit, because that is our primary objective. Unless that organization is not a for-profit organization. Okay? Now, pag nagde-decide tayo as a manager, pag nagde-decide tayo, sometimes may mga managers na they do it in a very naive manner. Kung ano lang, or maybe based on their intuition, maybe based on their what they feel or gut feel. Pero meron din namang mga managers na they make decisions scientifically, meaning they follow a certain process. Kasi pagka wala ka namang naging proseso, bawat decision mo, hindi mo tinitingnan kung ano mga basis, there's a tendency na yung output o yung outcome ng decisions na yun may not be what you expect. Kaya, because you are not able to consider all the relevant informations that you need. Kaya, it is better to do it scientifically or following a certain process so that wala kang maiwanang relevant information that is needed para ang makuha mong decision is yung tamang decision. Okay? Hindi pwedeng purely gut feel only or intuition only. Mahirap yon. Hindi siya reliable talaga. Okay? Kasi, di ba, sabihin natin, feeling ko lang, eh, kung feeling mo lang yun, baka hindi yun yung totoong situation. So, we need to have a concrete basis for our decision. So, if that is the case, importante na matutunan natin how to get or to pick relevant information or relevant data for us to make a decision. And I have here a 4 generic steps or process in decision making. Some management or managers may insert or include other steps or processes depending on the nature of their operation. So in short, basic lang ito, generic lang itong 4. If there are others na i-input nila dyan, okay lang yon because that is applicable to their operation. So una daw, you define your strategies, business goals, and tactics to achieve them. Ano ba yung napili mong strategy, competitive strategy? Are you a cost leader or a product differentiator? So, at this point, dapat naintindihan na natin yun, no? Na yung cost leader, you wanted to maintain low cost and be a leader in the market. Yun namang product differentiation, you're offering your goods or services in a little bit higher price simply because you have other functions on your goods that is different from other alternatives. So doon ka nagpo-focus. So it should be clear sa'yo kung ano ba kasi yung strategy mo para madali kang mag-decide o makatulong sa'yo sa decision mo. Pag hindi kasi klaro sa'yo, ano ba ang strategy ng negosyo? Gusto ba natin mahal pero may mga added function, or gusto natin mura, leader naman tayo sa market. Okay? So, iset mo yun. Ano yung strategy? Define your strategies. And then, identify the alternative choices of course of action. You need to list down all possible alternatives. Kailangan wala kang maiwanan. Kasi, pag hindi mo na ilista yung options na yon, tapos nakapag-decide ka na, edi baka mali yung nagawa mong decision. So you have to list all the possible alternatives or choices. And then, out of those choices, you need to collect and analyze what are relevant data on your choices. Kasi pagkalista mo at sa isang choice na yon, maraming mga data na pwedeng makasama pero hindi lahat magagamit. So doon ka lang sa data na magagamit or merong impact or merong bearing dun sa choice na yon. Kung wala naman, wag mo nang isama yung data na yon para hindi nakakagulo. Okay? And then choose the best alternative to achieve the goals. So, nakasalalay dun sa number 3, yung choosing the best alternative. Because if your choices are too uh, bulky, yung bang uncomprehensible because of too much data, because it includes irrelevant data, eh mahihirapan ka rin mag-choose ng best alternative. Kaya, in relevant costing, after excluding irrelevant data, you can now choose the best alternative. Kaya nakasalalay talaga yung pag-determine natin which are relevant, which are not. Okay? So, there is another step or another process in using relevant costing in decision making. Kasi doon sa unang generic, this one, sa generic steps, dito pa lang meron na sa number 3, you have to be able to select relevant data. So pag gumamit ka ng relevant costing, medyo merong konting changes o additional step doon sa pag-choose ng relevant information. Number 1, thou determine all costs associated with each alternative being considered. Kanina sa step 3, collect and analyze all muna. Collect all costs muna. And then after collecting all the costs, drop those costs that are sunk or historical, because yung mga sunk cost and historical cost, no matter what we do, wala na yung mababago. Hindi na yun magbabago. Kasi na dumaan na siya, nag-sunk na siya. For example, the cost of the building, kahit anong gawin mo, whatever decisions you choose, nabayaran na natin yun, na-incur na natin yun. Nag-sunk na yun. Nag-depreciate na nga yun eh. Okay? And that historical already. So drop those costs na you think are sunk and historical. Drop those costs that do not differ between alternatives. For example, yung depreciation nun, no matter what we choose, we will still incur the depreciation of the building unless our options includes a total repair of the building, and it will improve the building. Magkakaroon ng changes yung depreciation. Pero kung wala naman, the same pa din, then you can now drop that cost dahil hindi siya kasama sa, I mean irrelevant na siya. Even if it is a rent expense or lease cost or cost of rent, kung wala ka namang mababago sa renta mo, magbabayad at magbabayad ka pa rin, then that is irrelevant already sa mga alternatives mo. Okay? It's not yet a sunk cost because you still have to pay for it. Hindi pa siya bayad. So, pero kung wala naman din siyang magiging changes, then you can simply eliminate that, drop that cost because walang difference sa choices. And then you can now make a decision based on the remaining cost or those costs that are relevant only. So, what are relevant costs? A cost that is applicable to a particular decision in the sense that it will have a bearing on which alternative the manager select. These are expected future costs which differ between the decision alternatives. So, yung dalawang characteristics ng relevant cost is they are future cost and they create a difference between alternatives. Kung future lang siya, wala namang difference, hindi siya relevant cost. Kung may difference but not a future cost, which is, I'm not sure if it is possible, hindi rin siya magiging relevant cost. Paano magkakaroon ng difference pero hindi siya future, I don't know kung may ganong klaseng cost. So in short, dapat future cost and will make a difference between alternatives. Okay? So it should have a bearing on your alternatives. Kung wala ring bearing, hindi rin siya relevant cost. Okay. We have here avoidable costs. These are costs that can be eliminated in whole or in part as a result of choosing one alternative over another in a decision-making situation. So, if this cost, avoidable cost, uh, can be eliminated whole and in part, so therefore meron siyang difference. It will make a difference. Kasi pwedeng tanggalin, pwede ring uh, buong tanggalin or pwedeng partly tanggalin. So therefore, it will make a difference. So therefore, avoidable costs are relevant costs. Okay? Avoidable costs are relevant costs. Kasi pwede mong, may option ka to remove it in whole or in part. Pero yung mga sunk cost, wala ka ng choice doon. Kailangan mo na siyang, na-incur mo na kasi. So, tanggalin mo na lang siya dahil siya ay irrelevant cost. Okay, I have here C exercise 1. If you have your book with you today, at this moment, kindly go to page 303, 303, and let's try to answer exercise 1. Okay, the exercise says we have to determine which are relevant and which are irrelevant costs. And we were given two cases, case 1 and case 2, but both case will use the same items to determine whether they are relevant or irrelevant. So in short, in this exercise, you will be able to realize that hindi po fix when we make a cost relevant or irrelevant. There are cases na relevant siya, but there are cases na nagiging irrelevant siya. Okay? So, depende sa case, depende sa situation, para masabi mong relevant or irrelevant. Because as you can see, parehas lang naman nung cost. Pero bakit dun sa isa relevant, yung isa not relevant on a particular case? Because it depends. Sige, let's try. Sa case 1, let me just read case 1 for a while. The company chronically runs at capacity and the old model E7000 machine is the company's constraint. Management is considering the purchase of a new model F5000 machine to use in addition to the company's present model E7000 machine. The old model E7000 machine will continue to be used to capacity as before, with the new model F5000 being used to expand production. The increase in volume will be large enough to require increase in fixed selling expense and in general administrative overhead, but not in the general fixed manufacturing overhead. Okay, so in that situation, the management is planning to buy a new machine as an additional machine to E7000. Because sabi niya sa unang statement, E7000 is being used chronically, meaning at full capacity. Siguro marami silang order, kaya isa lang yung machine, kaya yung machine at full capacity. At dahil meron pa, we need additional machine, kaya bibili ng F5000 model. So, upon purchase, hindi siya i-replace, hindi i-replace, additional siya. So, whatever additional production it will produce, magkakaroon daw yan ng impact sa fixed selling expense na mag-i-increase at yung fixed general administrative expense, but not in the general fixed manufacturing overhead? Okay, let's go over sa pag-answer. Sales revenue. Uh, is it future cost? Yes. We haven't have sales revenue yet. Will make will this will cost will make a difference between alternative? Yes. Simply because dagan tayo ng numbers of units produced, then therefore tataas yung sales revenue natin. So therefore, sales revenue is a relevant cost. Sundan ba yon? Bakit siya naging relevant? Kasi meron siyang difference, magdagan yung ating mapoproduce, so magdagan yung ating ibebenta. How about direct materials? Since there will be an increase in production, there will also be an increased need for raw materials. So therefore, this is a relevant cost. Okay? How about labor? If there's an increase in machine, then we need additional laborers who will run the machine. Or aside from the one who will run the machine, meron ding mga other uh, area na kailangan ng tao dahil magdadagdag tayo ng production. So we need additional direct laborers. Therefore, this is a relevant cost. Okay? How about variable manufacturing overhead? What was mentioned in the case is that yung fixed manufacturing overhead ang hindi magbabago. So therefore, yung variable manufacturing overhead, magbabago yan for sure. Plus, additional to your analysis, if there are changes in your production, and we understand that variable manufacturing overhead follows the numbers of units produced, di magbabago din talaga siya. Kaya this one is a relevant cost. Okay? Book value of the old model, E7000 machine, yun daw book value nung ating old machine. Will there be a change in the book value? Pag binili ba natin yung new machine, magkakaroon ba ng changes sa book value ng old model? Wala naman kasi hindi naman sinabi sa case na i-repair siya. It will still be used as is at full capacity. So I think walang magiging changes sa book value. Yung depreciation niya, hindi rin naman magbabago. Wala rin naman sinabi sa case na there's a change in estimate. Kaya book value will remain, therefore irrelevant or not relevant. Disposal value, the case did not mention that we will sell the old machine, so therefore this one is an irrelevant cost, not relevant. Depreciation of the old machine, walang sinabing ni-repair, so as is pa din siya, therefore not relevant. Market value of the new machine. Ito bibilhin natin, babayaran natin to. It will make a difference because it will decrease our cash or maybe it will increase your payables. Kaya may change ito, it's a future cost, therefore this one is relevant cost. As mentioned in the case, fixed manufacturing overhead will not be changed, kaya irrelevant cost or not relevant. Variable selling expense, what was mentioned in the case is yung fixed selling expense and general administrative expense. So therefore, yung variable selling expense is dependent on the numbers of units to be sold, nag-increase yon. So mag-i-increase din yung variable selling expense. Kaya this is a relevant cost. And the other two, as mentioned, will not change. But nag-relevant na yun. Sorry, mali ako doon. Sorry, sinabi pala sa case na mag-i-increase. there will be a increase. Ang di pala mag-i-increase yung fixed uh, manufacturing overhead. So fixed selling, although fixed, as mentioned in the case, will change or will increase, so therefore relevant cost. As well as the general and administrative overhead, it will increase, so therefore it is a relevant cost. Sorry, nagkamali ako doon. Okay, case 2. Sa case 2, let me read the case. The old model E7000 machine is not the company's constraint, but management is considering replacing it with a new model F5000 machine because of the potential savings in direct material cost with the new machine. The model E7000 machine would be sold. This change will have no effect on production or sales other than some savings in direct material costs due to less waste. Okay. So, iba yung situation na ito. For case 2, the management intends to sell the old machine and replace it with the new machine. And as mentioned, there will be no change in the numbers of units produced and the numbers of units sold. Kaya, yung ating sales revenue will not change because there is no change in production and numbers of units sold. So therefore, nagiging irrelevant siya or not relevant at all. Yung direct materials, as mentioned in the case, ay will change because there will be a savings in the materials. Since bago yung machine, walang masyadong waste, kaya makakatipid tayo. Kung dati 10 yung nagagamit mong raw materials, ngayon ay 8 na lang, so meron kang savings, there is a change. So therefore, relevant cost siya. Walang changes sa labor kasi yung dating naghahawak nung old machine, lilipat lang siya sa new machine, kaya walang dagdag laborers. Irrelevant siya. Variable overhead, since walang changes sa numbers of units produced, then wala rin change sa kanya. Kaya irrelevant siya. Book value of the old machine, although we will sell it, it will not change. It's already a sunk cost na incur na natin yun. Kaya irrelevant siya. But that disposal value will make a difference. Kasi kung magkano natin siya ibibenta, yun yung papasok na cash sa atin. So, it will make a difference. Therefore, that is a relevant cost. Depreciation of the old machine is also an example of a sunk cost. Even if we will sell it, we cannot recover it anymore. Kaya, it is a irrelevant cost. The market value of the new machine, syempre babayaran natin yun. It will make a difference, then it is a relevant cost. Fixed manufacturing overhead, walang minention sa case na may changes, kaya irrelevant, as well as the variable selling expense, since walang changes sa numbers of units sold, irrelevant. Fixed selling, walang changes, and general, walang changes, irrelevant. Okay. I think I missed something. Sandali po. Okay, I missed the discussion of opportunity cost and out-of-the-pocket cost. Let me check. Okay, so wala. Opportunity costs are costs that we forgone because we chooses one alternative over the other. And uh, as we have learned in our cost accounting, opportunity costs are not formally recognized or accounted for kasi yung iba namang mga cost na yon hindi naman actually na-incur na ano yan, nafo-forgan lang. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo lang siya napili. So, kung yun dapat ang na-incur mo, hindi mo na-incur because na pumili ka ng iba, yun yung mga opportunity cost. Kaya hindi natin yan formally nire-recognize or nire-record or ina-account. But, in relevant costing, uh, kasama siya sa mga relevant cost. So, pag-consider ng mga relevant cost, ang mga opportunity cost. So in short, opportunity costs are always relevant costs. And then out of the pocket costs, these are also relevant costs because in the future, I mean, these costs will be incurred in the future and babayaran mo yun eh. You will incur it in the future and therefore it will make a difference. Just like yung pagbili kanina ng machine, if there are uh, information included in that case na sabi there will be a payment for the transportation of the new machine to the premises, that transportation expense is an out-of-the-pocket cost and therefore a relevant cost. Kaso wala naman siyang binigay. So, just an example. Kaya, these are examples of out-of-the-pocket cost. And then we have two approaches in analyzing alternatives. One is incremental or just simply you look at the difference, kung alin lang yung may difference, at kung ano lang yung may increase, kaya sa tinawag na incremental. Or you can do it in a total project approach, meaning you will include in your analysis those irrelevant or those not relevant costs, and then you compute for the total, and then you make an analysis out of it. Okay? So para bang kung ang gusto mong malaman is whether we will accept or reject a new order aside from what we are producing right now. Pwedeng ang gawin mong approach, magkano lang ba ang magiging dagdag sa bawat piraso na i-accept nating bagong order. Or you wanted to do it in a total project approach, meaning you will compute for the total sales and then total expense and what is the effect on the net income. Hold on ha, sandali lang po. Okay. Wala na naman ako. May Shopee na naman. Ano yung dinidiscuss ko? Incremental and total project approach. Okay. So again, pwedeng ganon, total. We will compute for the total revenue, total expenses, and the net income. And then you compare what is the effect of accepting the new order in your net income. So later we will have an application of an incremental and a project approach, total project approach. Okay, and now we will go to all the non-routine activities that we have to make a decision, and that is whether we will make or buy a parts, add or drop, sell now or process further, special sales pricing o yun yung special order, utilization of scarce resources, shut down or continue operation, and how to price, how to set up price. So yeah, let's go to the make or buy. Uh, there are situation na yung parts ng ginagawa mong product can be produced internally or you are simply buying it outside. So you are faced in a situation na you are being asked, are we going to make it internally or continue buying it outside? Okay, so yun yung decision na kailangan mong gawin. Now, when you make an analysis, pwedeng ang gawin mo, you compare how much will it cost you to buy it outside and how much will it cost you to make it. And then you compare which one is lesser so that magkaroon ka ng savings and that is more advantageous to you. Okay? So yun lang ang magiging decisions mo. I mean, yun yung magiging considerations mo. So I have here a case or an illustrative problem. It is also given on your reference that is on page 287. Assume that KLM company is purchasing 2,000 parts from an outside supplier for 170 pesos a part. If the company makes the part internally, the cost will be assigned to the parts are as follows. Materials, labor, and overhead. The overhead is variable and fixed, and the total is 360,000. So in this information alone, if we will compute for the cost to buy, that is 2,000 parts times 170, that's 340,000. And compare it to the total cost to produce it, that is 360,000, it seems like it is more cheaper to buy it outside than to make it internally. Kasi isang 340 tsaka isang 360. However, a closer look of your composition of your product cost or production cost na 360, you charge fixed overhead of 80,000. And you realize na whether you make it or buy it outside, you will still pay for the fixed overhead of 80,000. Hindi naman magbabago. So therefore, fixed overhead is irrelevant to that options. Kaya dapat i-drop natin tong 80,000 na to. Ang relevant lang is the direct materials, direct labor, and the variable overhead. The fixed overhead, if we will not make the parts internally, we will still incur the 80,000 fixed cost. So let us drop it. Pag tinanggal mo yun, ang matitira na lang na total cost mo in producing it is 280,000. Compare it to 340,000, it seems like it's more cheaper to make it internally and you will incur 280,000 only. Unlike buying it outside, which is 340,000. Okay, so that is an incremental approach. Hindi mo siya tinotal, hindi mo kinompute muna yung magiging total sales, revenue, and expenses, and then effect on net income. Okay. There is an additional discussion on your book about the indifference cost volume, point of indifference cost volume. Ibig sabihin lang nun, we need to compute the numbers of units na we can set as our benchmark whether it is advisable for us to make the parts internally or simply buy it outside. So, kapag ka daw uh, beyond doon sa indifference point na yon, making the part is less costly. Okay, ulit. After computing that indifference point, any units beyond or in excess, ihigit pa doon sa indifference point mo, making the part is less costly, mas mura. Pero kung below, mas mabuti pang bilhin mo na lang outside. Buying it outside is more cheaper compared to making it inside. Okay, ba't nagkaganon, sir? Ba't pag mas mababa dun yung unit, mas mabuti pang bilhin sa labas, mahal gawin. Pagka naman nag-beyond doon, mas murang gawin. Okay, parang baliktad sa isip mo. Pero actually, it's not. Kasi, when we produce a product, there is a fixed cost on it. So, if for example, dyan sa book, 1,333, yung 1,333 na yun, they absorb the fixed part. Sakto sa kanila yon, sa kanila yung fixed cost na yon. So, pagka dumami pa sa 1,333, marami yung maghahati-hati sa fixed part. So, therefore, it will decrease, bumaba yung cost mo per unit. Okay? So, kung mahigit pa sa 1,333, mas marami yung nag-absorb ng fixed cost, mas lalong bumaba yung per unit cost. Pero kung habang kumukonti sila, kumukonti yung nag-absorb ng total fixed cost, lumalaki yung per unit niya. Kaya, pag mas mababa, mas mura pang bilhin na lang sa labas kaysa gawin natin. Kasi, ina-absorb nila yung fixed cost, kukonti lang sila. Okay, habang dumadami, lalong dumadami yung hahati-hati sa fixed cost, lalong bumaba yung per unit niya. Next, add or drop. It's either you will add or drop mo na lang. Parang may resemblance. Mag-a-add ka, mag-a-drop ka. Okay, this is something to do with deciding whether a product line or maybe a segment should be added or simply drop. Simple lang gagawin mo. This is a total project approach. You compute for the operating outcomes of all the segments or product lines, katulad ng ginawa niya, A, B, and C. And then you check whether that segment or product line will have a positive impact or a negative impact in total. So dito sa situation niya, suppose a company furnishes the following recent operating statement for its 3 product lines, A, B, and C. The management is considering to discontinue product C. The company can sell assets. Sandali nga. A company can sell assets used in product C operation at book value. They would lay off the product C supervisor with no termination pay. So ang problematic product line is the product C. So as you can see, negative na naman siya, no? Operating loss siya ng negative 8,000. So if we will eliminate this one, hindi naman totally yung 8,000 lang matanggal mo dun eh. Tatanggalin mo rin yung sales niya, the variable expense niya, matanggal din yan. And then merong mga may iwan ditong mga cost na allocated to him na i-absorb ng remaining product lines. Katulad halimbawa nitong 22,000 na ito. Administrative cost allocated equally. Kung wala na si C, 22,000 will be absorbed by A and B. Kaya we have to check whether it will be positive or negative for us. So, although it is mentioned no, na pwede naman daw ibenta yung mga assets niya, ang unang-una mong pwedeng tingnan is yung contribution margin. We have 300,000 sales and 240,000 of variable expense and a fixed expense, salaries product line of the supervisor. Since he will be terminated at all, pwede mo na rin i-minus yan. Ilan pa yan? May matitira pa yan, ano? 20,000. No? Yes. 300 to 40 minus 40, meron pa tayong matitirang 20,000. So yung 20,000 na yun, pwede pang gamitin pang bayad ng 6,000 and 22,000. Although kulang na yan, at least hindi, magkano to? 7, 8. 28,000 yung mawawala sa'yo. 8,000 lang yung nawawala sa'yo. Diba? Kasi may pang-absorb ka pang 20,000. Kaya, anong pwede mong decision dyan? Pwede mong wag na muna natin yung i-drop since yung nako-contribute lang naman niya is negative 8,000, hindi negative 28,000. Siguro yun yung magiging benchmark mo. If it will reach negative 28, then parehas lang, we can simply drop product C. Okay? But at this point, since 8,000 lang naman yung na-deduct dun sa ating total net income, then we can simply retain it para meron pang-absorb dun sa 28,000. Okay? There's a case B there. It's for you. Just apply the changes and then check the effect on the total net income. Next is sell now or process further. There are products na dumadaan sa iisang process and then at certain point, it will split up kasi yung iba ay iba ang design or maybe iba ang specification kaya they have to split up. And then at split off point, meron na yung mga estimated selling price and then cost incurred already to the at split off point. Tapos yung iba pwedeng i-process further, yung iba pwedeng ibenta na. So ang decision na gagawin mo dito is whether we will sell it now or we will still process it further. Okay, kasi pwede na siyang mabenta. Halimbawa, kung ang pinoproduce mo ay ham and bacon. Okay? Iisa lang yung source mo niyan or isang raw material, siyempre yung karne ng baboy. And then, kunyari nalinis na and so on, nasa process ka ng ika-cut mo siya. Na-cut mo na siya at nung na-cut mo na, yung isa papunta sa ham, yung isa papunta sa bacon. Pero, at that point, pwede siyang Hindi ham, hindi bacon, kung hindi ah, ano ba, kasim or maybe pork steak or maybe ang tawag nyo doon, liempo. Okay? Liempo. Pwede siya ibenta as liempo. So, pag pinrocess further natin, it will become ham or bacon. Or wag nating i-process, benta natin siya as liempo. I'm not sure kung tama yung pinagsasabi ko tungkol sa hiwa ng baboy, but that is, uh, I mean, just take note of the concept. Okay? So, let's try. Dito sa illustration niya, assume that three products are derived from a single raw materials. Cost and revenue data relating to the products are presented below, along with analysis of which product should be sold at the split-off point and which should be processed further. So we have three, no, A, B, and C. See A, the sales value at split-off point is 60,000. The sales value after further processing is 80,000. The allocated joint product cost is 40,000, and the cost of further processing is 25,000. Okay. So si product A, if we will sell it at split of point, we will have a sales value of 60,000. And then, ang cost nun ay 40,000. So kikita na tayo ng 20,000 at split of point. Hindi mo na kailangan i-process further. If we will process it further, we will incur a cost of 25,000. So, talo na tayo dun, di ba? Talo na tayo ng 5,000 doon. Kumita tayo ng 20, ipaprocess further mo pa ng 25, malulugi ka na ng 5,000. Okay? Kaya, it is better to sell it at split of point. Product B, 75, tapos 50, so kita na tayo doon. Kaya lang, pagka nag-process further tayo, sandali po ah. Okay, pag nag-process further tayo, the sales value will be 120. And then yung cost for further processing is 30. Wait lang. Wait lang po ah. Okay. Sorry, Don. Meron lang akong kinausap. Asan na ba ako? If we will process it further, ang magiging sales value niya is 120,000. If we will not sell it, process it further, 75 lang. So, mag-i-increase yung ating sales value from 120 to 75 ng 45,000. And then yung increase naman sa further processing from 50 to 30, ano, yung increase sa further processing is 30,000. Kayang-kayang i-absorb nung 45,000 increase in sales value yung further processing. Kaya 15,000 is positive, pwedeng i-process further. Balikan ko yung A. Nalito tayo doon. Yung difference ng 80 and 60 is 20,000. So, kayang i-absorb, hindi kayang i-absorb yung 25,000 cost of further processing. Lugi tayo doon ng 5,000. So, si C, from 30, pwedeng ibenta ng 45 kung ipaprocess further. Kaya may increase na 15,000. Ang cost of further processing lang naman ay 5,000, kaya kayang-kayang i-absorb. Meron pang matitirang 10,000. So, ang decision natin, A, sell it at split of point. B and C, we can process it further. Next is accepting or rejecting a special order. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, pwedeng incremental approach, pwede ring total project approach. So, diyan sa illustration natin, Vina Enterprise has an annual planned capacity to produce 2,500 units. Its predicted operation for the year is 80,000. That's 2,000 units at 40 pesos each. The manufacturing cost is 24 per unit. Tsaka meron siyang fixed cost na 17,000 pesos. Selling and admin expense, ang variable is 2 pesos and 50 cents each. May fixed cost na 2,500. Should the company accept a special order of 400 units at a selling price of 32 pesos each, which is subject to half of the usual commission rate per unit, assume no effect on regular sales at regular price? Okay. So, let's apply first the incremental approach. Meaning, doon lang tayo sa merong difference or differential approach. The numbers of units na special order natin is 400 units. And ibebenta natin sa kanya yon ng 32 pesos each, which is lower than the amount that we usually charge to our regular customer, which is 40 pesos. By the way, isa din to sa mga consideration sa in making a decision whether to accept or reject a special order, because normally, baliktad ito sa actual ha, dito lang sa problem ganito ang situation. Normally, sa actual, kapag ka merong special order, mas mahal. Sa illustration natin, mas mura yung special order. Okay, so kung dati nagpo-produce ako ng 2,000 units, tapos umu-order ka ng 400, madadagdagan ako ng raw materials, dagdag tao, and so on. So mas mahal yung babayaran mo in actual. Pero sa illustration natin, mas mura niyang binibenta. So kung ganyan, you have to consider also this might affect your regular customers. Sasabihin ng regular customers mo, ba't ganon? Special na nga lang yung kanya, mas mura pa siya. Baka mawalan ka ng customer. So, you have to consider that also. Yes, wait. Sandali po. Okay, so The total revenue for that is 12,800. And then, ang cost lang na relevant is yung 24 pesos na variable manufacturing cost and the variable commission on sales. Pero sinabi naman sa problem na hindi 250, kalahati lang, half of the usual commission rate, and that is 1.25 each. Kaya, ang total incremental profit na pwede nating ma-earn sa additional order na 400 units is 2,700. Or alternatively, you can do it in a total project approach. You compute for the original numbers of units sold, that is 2,000 units. So meron kang 80,000 income doon. And then you add yung magiging yung revenue mo for the additional order, 12,800. Kaya ang magiging total income mo is 92,800. And then you also input all the other relevant costs. At the end, originally ang income mo is 7,500, magiging 10,200. So ganyan lang naman yung dalawang approach. Pwedeng incremental, pwedeng total project approach. Okay, so again, what's our decision? Accept na lang. Kasi mag-i-increase naman yung ating income dyan. As long as hindi maapektuhan yung ating mga regular customers. Okay, next is utilization of scarce resources. In economics, everything are scarce. So ganun din sa business, lahat ng bagay ay merong limitations, are limited. So if we have limited resources, we have to maximize the utilization of it para hindi tayo magkaroon ng mga idle capacity, hindi nagagamit na capacity. Kaya we have to utilize it at a maximum level. Okay. So paano daw natin yung gagawin? There is a separate or more detailed analysis on how to utilize a scarce resources in the next chapter. So ito ay sample, initial lang na analysis. Meron pang mas malalim pa. Asian company makes two kinds of bread. Hard rolls and soft rolls. Mali ako ng type doon. Hard rolls and soft rolls. Assume that the company can sell the bread it produces. Asian cost and revenue information is presented below. I think doon sa nyo is Aeon. Hard rolls and soft rolls. So, ito yung income or contribution margin per unit ng hard rolls. Contribution margin per unit ng soft rolls. Pareha silang 4 pesos. Pero hard rolls are sold at 10 pesos each and soft rolls are sold at 9 pesos each. Now, the constraint is the 720 machine hours per month. Ibig sabihin hanggang dito lang talaga yung machine. This is the constraint. Kung hanggang 720 machine hours lang daw, it could either produce 300 hard rolls or 500 soft rolls. And then we are being asked, so ilang hard rolls, ilang soft? Ilang hard, ilang soft? Ilang ang combination na gagawin natin to maximize the 720 machine hours? Okay. Now, if we will produce purely hard rolls, we will have a contribution margin of 1,200. That is 4 pesos times 300 units. If we will produce purely soft rolls, we will have a contribution margin of 2,000 pesos. That is 4 pesos times 500 units of soft rolls. So in short, dito lang sa data na to, it seems like it is more advantageous if we will produce 500 units of soft rolls and we will have a 2,000 pesos contribution margin. Huwag na tayong gumawa ng hard rolls. Or if we will do it, ang priority natin, yun munang mga soft rolls. Okay? So you will apply the total approach here. Computein mo na lang yung magiging total at you will have a total contribution margin of 864. If only hard rolls will be produced, you will have a total contribution margin of 864 and then maglo-loss ka ng 136. Okay? Comparing dun sa soft rolls, no, you will have a total income of or general contribution margin of 1,440,000 and 440,000 operating income or operating profit. So mas advantageous na mag-produce lang tayo ng puro soft, walang hard rolls. But in chapter 12, we can determine a combination of the two. So hold lang muna tayo dun sa idea na yon. For the meantime, ang ating decision is to choose which one should be produced considering the constraint, and that is the 720 machine hours. Kasi hanggang doon lang, 720 machine hours. Andiyan pa ba kayo? Next is, dalawa na lang yata ito. Yes. Shutdown or continue operation. Shutdown or continue operation. There are times na we have to decide whether to shut down for a while, stop muna, or gusto mo pang i-continue. Okay? So, yun yung decision natin. Yung choices natin. Shut down muna tayo or continue. The ABC company now operating below 50% of its practical capacity and expect that the volume of sales will drop below the level of 5,000 units per month. Medyo bumababa siya, tapos 5,000 units pababa na yung expected sales volume. An operating statement prepared for the monthly sales of 5,000 units shows the following. At 5,000 units, break even na tayo. Sales is 15, less variable cost of 10, non-variable cost is 5. So break even na tayo sa 5,000 units. Assume that the conservative estimate of cost if plant operations are suspended indicates a shutdown cost of 2,000 pesos per month. Since there is no immediate possibility of profit under present condition, the problem of the company is the possibility of minimizing the loss. So, paano daw yan? Kung isa-shutdown naman natin, we will incur 2,000 pesos per month as shutdown cost. Okay? So, ang problem lang naman natin, paano ba natin ma-minimize yung loss? Ito okay lang eh. Zero income, walang loss, hindi nga lang nagkaroon ng profit. So, 5,000 units, okay pa tayo. Kaya lang, we expect next year, it will be less than 5,000. Are we going to shut down now or continue operation? So what are you going to do is to compute for the shutdown point. Meaning, parang yung indifference point kanina, magsiset ka ng benchmark na hanggang doon yung level ng pwedeng ibaba o yung hangganan ng numbers of units na pwedeng mabenta para mag-go beyond that o mag-below that is shutdown ka na lang. Kasi mas malaki na yung loss mo doon. Okay? And how to compute that? You add, you deduct the shutdown cost from the fixed cost of operation and then divide by the contribution margin per unit. So dito sa illustration natin, that's 5,000, the non-variable cost, less the shutdown cost of 2,000, divided by 1 pesos contribution margin equals 3,000 units. So, if the demand is still more than 3,000 units, pero less than 5, kasi yung 5 yung break-even natin eh, operation loss will be lesser than shutdown loss, and therefore the company can continue operation. Pero kung below 3,000 na, ay hindi na. The company should discontinue operation simply because mas malaki na yung may incur mong loss doon. So between 3,000 to 5,000, kunyari ang expected numbers of units to be sold next year is still 4,000, then continue operation. 3,500, continue operation. 3,000, indifferent ka, pwedeng continue, pwedeng hindi. 2,500, shutdown na. Kasi less than 3,000 na. Okay, and then pricing is another decision to be made by our management. In pricing, dalawa lang yung options na pwede natin daw aralin at this point, yung cost plus pricing, which is the normal way of pricing a product, and target costing. Okay, sa cost plus pricing, simple lang, dadagdagan mo lang yung cost. Kaya sa tinawag na cost plus the pricing. How much should be added to the cost? You simply set up the markup percentage, multiply by the cost. So I think we have this kind of problem dun sa exam natin, di ba? Yung purchase price, dinagdagan lang yan ng markup na 25%. That's the markup percentage. Okay? So 25% of the cost, as dagdag mo dun sa cost, that's the selling price already. Kaya nga pag minumultiply natin yan, 1 plus the markup. Okay? Kasi cost plus yung cost is yung 100% natin. Kaya 1 point, the percentage, yun yung cost plus pricing natin. Namang target costing, magsiset ka ng desired profit mo. So, the anticipated selling price minus yung desired profit mo, whatever is the difference, that is your target cost. And what does it mean? Ibig sabihin hanggang doon lang yung cost mo. Pag nag-go beyond dyan sa target cost mo, the desired profit will suffer or your selling price will suffer. It's either you increase the selling price or decrease your desired profit. Kasi nag-set ka ng target cost. How to set the target cost? Yan na yung formula. Anticipated selling price minus the desired profit. Say you will sell it at 100, the desired profit is 20, so hanggang 80 lang, including all the product cost. Okay? Including all the product cost. Okay, I think that's it. That's chapter 11 on decision making for relevant costing for non-routine decision making. Do you have any questions? Wala. Very good. Mukhang you're also away from your keyboard. Thank you for attending and staying Uh, let me just put it off record, ha? Sadali po. Thank you, ha? Thank you.